Hi everyone, Eric Goldshine here from Fundera, and I want to talk to you about starting an import-export business. No matter what's going on with the global economy, there's always going to be an import-export market. Whether we're talking capital goods, consumer goods, equipment, food and beverage, or any other category, importing and exporting is an industry worth hundreds of billions of dollars. That's because, for almost as long as there have been people, there's been trade. Importing and exporting is how you're able to get clothing from China, olive oil from Spain, cars from Germany, and so on. So if you've identified a product that you think could be a hit in another market, it's time to explore how you can import and/or export it and make this into a business. Keep in mind, there's more than one type of import-export business. You could start an export management company, or EMC, which exports goods for domestic businesses that want to sell to a different market. An EMC hires dealers, invoices all the necessary parties, and deals with things like advertising, marketing, packaging, shipping, financing, and more. You could also go the other direction and start an export trading company or an ETC. An ETC figures out what foreign markets want and then finds domestic sources that can deliver that product. You could also become an import-export merchant, purchasing goods from a manufacturer and then packing and shipping those goods on your own. Here, you assume all the risks and all the rewards of selling that product overseas. Regardless of what you're looking to do, there are some steps that every import-export business must take. So, where do you start? Here are the 6 steps to starting your own import-export business. Step 1, cover the business basics. This means registering your business with the state where your headquarters will be located, registering a domain name, getting any business licenses you need to legally operate, and so on. You'll need a business plan too. Part of that business plan needs to cover the rules and regulations of the markets you want to work in. For example, to bring alcohol and tobacco products into the US, you need, yes, an Alcohol and Tobacco Trade and Tax Bureau permit, which can take months to acquire. Similar research needs to be done when doing business with other countries, covering everything from legal back label requirements to insurance. You can conduct research with resources like Global Edge's Market Potential Index, or by checking with local government officials and websites, such as the Department of Commerce International Trade Administration's data and analysis. You can also find reports on the state of the imports-exports industry with the Census Bureau's Foreign Trade page. Perhaps most importantly, you need access to capital. Startup costs can vary greatly depending on the type of imports-exports business you want to start. Everyone knows it takes money to make money, so it's helpful to have capital on hand when you're getting started. Look into a business credit card with a 0% introductory APR offer if you qualify, or a startup loan or line of credit to get you going. Step 2 is identify what you'll import or export, as well as your market. This step goes right along with step 1, because in order to write your business plan and understand what regulations you'll need to follow, you'll need to know what you're importing or exporting. If you're getting into this business, it's either because you have a passion for international business, or you've identified a product that would shine in another market, or both. So let's assume the former reason is your reason for getting into this business. What are you going to export from your home market to another? Maybe it's wine from South Africa to the United States, or buffalo wing sauce from the US to Europe. You'll typically want a deep familiarity with both the product you want to import-export, the market you're targeting, or both. That way, you'll understand the value proposition of what you're selling and any jargon or industry or market-specific talk that will help you stand out in a crowd of other importers and exporters. Market research is a big undertaking, but the basic questions you'll want to answer include: Number 1, what is the product or service you want to sell? Number 2, who is your target market or end user? Is it the mass market consumer or for use by businesses or governments? Number 3, what country or countries will you import from or export to? And number 4, finally, who will be your trade partners? Your trade partners could be a manufacturer's representative, wholesale distributors, or retailers on either side of the importing or exporting process. These are the people you'll deal with. So you're not just buying up caviar in France, putting it in a box that says USA, and expecting someone to buy it when it hits the ports. Step 3 is to source your suppliers. When you get in touch with a wholesaler or manufacturer's representative, you'll already have a lead on a supplier for your product. Generally, you can also find suppliers through companies like Alibaba, Global Sources, and Thomas Register. You can find links to those companies down below. You will need to convince your potential supplier of the benefits of entering the US market, or another market if you wish to sell to that one, and figure out the logistics of taking their product from their local warehouse or production facility to another one, potentially on the other side of the globe. Maybe you'll become your own supplier. You can investigate what it would cost to buy an interest in the product or service you want to import or export, giving yourself an added incentive to find an international home for the goods that you now have a vested interest in. Step 4, price your product. Okay, you know what product you want to work with, and you've identified your target market. Next up, figuring out how much to charge. Typically, the business model on an imports-exports business includes 2 key understandings: the volume of units sold and the commission you made on that volume. You might also get paid with a salary or flat retainer plus commission if you're an EMC. Be sure to price your product such that your markup doesn't exceed what a customer is willing to pay for it. But you don't want to make it too low so that you won't make a profit. Your overhead and the specifics of what you're importing or exporting, its price, its cachet, its availability, will play a huge role in dictating your price, of course. In this industry, importers and exporters typically take 10 to 15% markup above what the manufacturer charges when you buy the raw product. Step 5 is identify your customers. It's one thing to have an idea of who your customers are or what your target market is, but it's another thing to actually get them on the line and have them agree to buy from you or sell to you. Again, you can't just send your products to the Port of New York and start selling your wares to whomever walks by. You usually need to find distributors and clients, and there are a few ways to do that. If you have a quality website and you market it well, your customers may end up finding you. Cold calling is also a time-honored and useful tactic. Check with any local contacts you have in the area, or contact the region's Chamber of Commerce, trade consulates, embassies, and so on. These organizations and offices might be able to give you a local contact list that could be vital help in starting an imports and exports business. Step 6 is finalize the logistics. This is your biggest and most complicated step, and the one that covers a variety of bases, from finalizing your supply chain to potentially moving into an office space if you started out as a home-based business. This step will also be markedly different depending on what kind of import-export business you decided to start. If you are an import-export merchant, you may want to get in touch with a global freight forwarder to serve as a transport agent for moving cargo. That saves you a lot of time and worry about getting your products from the factory to a warehouse. You'll give them information about your business and your intentions for the product, and they'll arrange the shipping agreements, insurance, and even the licenses, permits, tariffs, and quotas of working within another country. If you're an EMC or ETC, you might do all these processes in-house and need to worry instead about putting money and time towards marketing your services or renting out commercial office space as your operation grows. Essentially, you need to start thinking about importing and exporting as a business, not just as a series of transactions, and make sure that you're taking all the steps necessary to remain profitable in the months ahead. Joining an import-export association, finding a mentor in this space, and getting in touch with local and federal government agencies will be a huge help in making this happen for you. All right, that about covers the basics of starting an import-export business. It's a complex topic that requires a ton of research and hard work, but the thrill of making your services a part of the framework of international trade can make it all worth it. Let us know if you have any questions or comments down below, and of course, subscribe to our channel for more insights into starting or growing any kind of business. Also, visit us at fundera.com/blog for even more information on every aspect of entrepreneurship. Thanks for watching.